our school better. We're gonna learn so much and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
We can't wait to build a legacy together.
Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the show.
Excuse me, cameraman, how much am I going to get paid for this?
What's up, y'all? So we about to do a dance. I can't see myself.
I can't see.
Wait, why you pushing? Hey, why you scooting me?
Well, hey, guys, stop.
We kind of be in the picture. I let everybody be in my picture.
So,
I'm gone. Hey, y'all. Bruh, you keep on facing me.
Mama, if you keep on facing.
Y'all be still.
And Mom, if you do watching this, please.
One, Michelle Robinson McKissick. Woo! All right. District 2, Chair Althea Green of District 2.
All my life, they be trying to keep me down.
District 3, Stephanie Love.
This time, never thought I'd make it out. No.
District 4,
No.
Kevin Woods.
All my life, they be trying to keep me down.
District 5, Mauricio Calvo. District 6, Keith Williams. District 7, Frank Johnson. District 9, Vice Chair Joyce Dorse Coleman.
All my life, they be trying to keep me down. All this time.
Memphis is magical,
bold,
unique,
soul, great,
unstoppable.
home. When things get tough here in Memphis, most of us pray. And then we come together as a family. Memphis is a community, a small Mayberry, a community of people who support each other, who love on each other. And when the storms are rough, we pray and embrace and lift each other up.
What makes me believe in our school system is the fact that we have the most dedicated people in our system. We have people, parents, community members that care about what's important.
Whether you have kids in the school system, whether you're working in the school system, whether you're a taxpayer and you're just have some commentary about the district, we need everyone who can hear my voice, who can hear our new superintendent's voice to say, how can I make Memphis-Shelby County schools better and turn that hopelessness into action?
You got to keep the family together. You got to teach your children what is right. You got to instill values in them. And the school has to transmit the proper culture. They have to be exposed and see things and believe that they can do it.
Memphis, Tennessee is a state. Don't get it twisted.
In the school system because it gave life and hope to us. It gave life and hope to me, to my friends. It gave us something to believe in. It gave us structure. It gave us everything.
Memphis children are special because they really love their city and they're a corner of the city, so to speak. Their neighborhoods, they're all in for their neighbors, their friends, their community. And I think that's what makes our children in Memphis extra special.
In Memphis, we face our challenges head on. We don't ignore the problems. We know that in Memphis, we're faced with deep poverty, but we're also faced with families and neighbors and communities that are willing to come together during our darkest hours.
It's time. We are ready to move Memphis forward together.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Memphis-Shelby County School Board, I am excited to welcome you to this momentous occasion, the first 100 days with Superintendent Feagins. Today is more than just a gathering. It is a celebration of progress and achievement with our new leader. In these few months, Superintendent Feagins has infused our district with a fresh perspective, boundless energy, and an unwavering dedication to the students and families and staff of MSCS. This event serves as a testament to our collective journey, a chance to honor our successes, and an opportunity to carve a bold path forward. It is through dedication and hard work of our entire community that we strive for excellence in education. Together, we will build upon our achievements and ensure that every student receives nothing short of an education where they can leave a legacy. To every single educator, principals, parents, community members, and leaders, thank you for your steadfast support and unwavering commitment to our students' success. Let us make today's gathering not only informational, but also a source of inspiration. Please join me now in welcoming our esteemed Vice Chair, who will share a few words.
Thank you, Chair Green. Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege to join you at this pivotal moment in our district's journey, the Superintendent's first 100-day event. I want to extend a warm welcome to each of you as we come together to review the accomplishments and aspirations of our new superintendent. As Vice Chair of the Memphis-Shelby County School Board, I am proud of the strides we have made together in advancing educational excellence. In her short time with us, our superintendent has already demonstrated strong leadership, innovation, and a deep commitment to the success of every student. Yes, she has. Tonight, we will showcase the collaborative efforts and strategic initiatives that has shaped the early days of her tenure. I urge you to listen closely and look for key ways you can contribute to the district's success. Your input is invaluable as we work together to fulfill our mission of providing a world-class education to all students in our community. Thank you for your dedication to Memphis-Shelby County Schools. Let's embrace this opportunity to celebrate our progress and renew our commitment to learning, leading, and leaving a legacy. Thank you.
We're all struggling to improve academic achievement, especially among young people that are plagued with poverty.
Remember what I said? It doesn't make any difference if your kid goes to public school or private school. It's what the parents' income is, their educational status, and socioeconomic level.
And all the problems that we're having now in our city with poverty and crime, they all go back to reading.
I'm looking at news reports that we're getting kids younger and younger participating in theft and car theft and shooting guns and all kinds of behavior. But I believe that's because we have not engaged them.
Willie W. Harrington. I'm a retiree. I'm a retiree of the Memphis City School System. I spent 30 years of service in the Memphis City Schools.
Martavius Jones, former Memphis City Councilman, former board member, Memphis City Schools and Shelby County Schools.
I am a product of Memphis City Schools, graduated from the Whitehaven High School, represented the community in District 3 on the school board as well as the City Council.
My name is Dr. Jeff Warren. I'm a family physician in Memphis since 1988. And I was on Memphis City School Board and the Shelby County School Board combined with the Memphis City School Board, and served a total of 8 2/3 years there. And I'm a second term now as a city councilman for Super District 9-3 for the city of Memphis.
I was available to the public at all times, especially during those times when we had a lot of grief.
Memphis was a segregated city. People of color were relegated to sitting on the back of the bus. We were drinking water from separate water fountains marked white and colored. Our schools were racially segregated.
I started attending school board meetings, county commission meetings, city council meetings, because it was my first time living in Memphis as an adult.
Let me first of all say that our new superintendent did not create these challenges, these problems. She has inherited, to me, in my way of thinking, an underfunded school system that suffers from deferred maintenance, which caught up with us.
We decided to give up the school system to try to force the county schools to do something that didn't make any sense in my opinion. I voted against this. And once we did that, all of the policies that we had as Memphis City Schools went away, and we went under the Shelby County School policies.
The citizens didn't understand the plight of our district and our children and what was going on at the time. And we didn't take the time to make sure they understood. We had town hall meetings, we listened to angry parents, we listened to an angry community, we answered the questions the best that we could. However, that background information that was needed was not given in a manner where the people heard it, received it, and followed up on it.
In our system, we have the county commission that funds the school system, and the state that funds the school system, that the local tax component comes from the county commission. And they say, well, we can't help the schools aren't doing well. They're not running them right. And the schools say, well, we need this amount of money to do it, and you're not giving it to us.
In Memphis City Schools, and now Memphis-Shelby County Schools, we still have basically the same problem. And the problem is that we need more funds to be infused into our school system.
Your budget is your financial plan for executing your academic plan. So regardless of how ambitious our academic plan was, if we didn't have the money to do so, it was just words on a piece of paper.
When I was on the school board, I think we had a $550 million fiscal plant deficiency. We knew we were behind $550 million. I think now it's closer to 1 or 1.2 billion that it would take to get our school systems, just the schools and the facilities, up to par. So the issue that you've got is the school board can't do anything about that. They've got to get it from the county commission. And what we did when we gave up Memphis City Schools is what we did, we allowed 7 school districts to be formed, because once we did that, the state was going to change the law. And that's what they did. So now if Collierville wants a new high school, they bump taxes up a little bit in Collierville and it goes to their high school. Where before, what we had was for every $1 of taxes that you paid as a county resident, we had 70% of the students. We got 70 cents out of that dollar.
We had legacy Shelby County schools trying to obtain what was called a special school district status. There's something in Tennessee Code Annotated, Tennessee law, TCA 49-2-107, that talks about the taxes that are associated with a special school district. What we have right now in Bartlett, Collierville, and the other municipalities is not a special school district. It's something called municipal schools. And so I'm not a lawyer, but I can read. And there were special laws that are associated with special school districts that I felt had negative financial implications for funding and educating Memphis children.
I always believed that the Shelby County government had the responsibility to fund the schools, okay? Now, the only way you were going to get them to do that was they had to have full responsibility, so the charter had to be non-existent.
My responsibility was for my district, so we had a little battle going. And the attorneys that we hired, and over about 2 years, we decided that the best thing to do is to give up the charter.
Well, let me tell you, improving academic achievement is not a new challenge. I had that challenge, okay? We had the challenge of dealing with the impact of poverty, and it's even more pronounced today.
Well, we're talking about wages that can barely support an individual, much less wages that can support a family.
We have known for decades that there's a direct correlation between socioeconomic status and academic achievement.
There are times when you can't make sense of why so many of our kids are not only being targeted, but why so many of them are participating in crime. So it was one of those things where you almost had to be in constant contact with school administrators, with school security, trying to come up with a solution, trying to make sure that we all are offering each other the resources and the support that we needed.
Schools mirror the broader society. Don't expect to see in the schools what's not in the broader community.
So if you have to have a parent who has to work 2 full-time jobs in order to have what would be a living wage, you have very little time for supervision and other outside activities. To me, that's what has caused our crime problem.
Schools are supposed to be institutions of learning. No child should have to come to school and worried about being a victim of a crime, certainly not losing their life. And it's unfair to a child to have to come to school, and not only the physical structure of being at school, but even the pathway to get to school, and have to worry about being the victim of a crime or not being able to come back home. No parent should have to worry all day long, I wonder if I'm going to get a phone call today that my child has been the victim of some type of crime.
When it came out, the results from the state, and I think it was about 300 pages long, or it was on looking at my phone, and I looked at the reading scores, and I went down to about the M's or N's in the schools because it was alphabetical, and we just have to do better as a community and expect more. And all the problems that we're having now in our city with poverty and crime, they all go back to reading.
I hate to say this, but we got here by doing basically the same thing that we've done in the past, following the not thinking outside the box and trying to address education like great authors and publishers of books that say this is how you do it.
So reaching out as much as she can to the community, city council people, county commissioners, just introducing them, asking them, you know, what can we do over here, but listening.
I believe the most important thing that Dr. Feagins and the school board could do at this time, communicate with the community. Be out there where people can touch them.
It is of critical importance that the superintendent and the board have clear lines of communications, okay?
My well-being and academic success should be the main focus of all district decisions.
I want to learn in a school that is state of the art.
I want the chance to get involved in activities in my school and in my community.
Let our teachers teach.
Help me get ready. Help me stay ready, because my future is at stake.
The hopes and dreams of 15,000 students are in our hands. There's no time to waste. Next is now.
I'm here for you, board members who had the courage to say, pause the process because we gotta get it right. I'm here for a city who is demanding more and wants a leader who believes in the adage, it takes a village to raise a child. I'm here most importantly because I wanna do the good work, the heavy work.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shelby County Schools. Show some love for the professional escort bringing her in. Put your hands together for Dr. Marie N. Feagins. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Y'all can do better than that. Dr. Marie Feagins in the building. Superintendent.
Memphis-Shelby County Schools in the building. First 100 days. It's going down in the DM. Did I just say that? Did I just say that, Conji? It's going down in the D. No, it's going down in the district. How about that? All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Buenas tardes, amigos, bienvenidos. That's all I know. I am joined with my lovely co-host, the one and only, the lovely and talented Conji Anthony in the building. Conji Anthony in the building, live at 9. Tonight is live at 6.
Honored to be standing here with the bell ringer himself, Stan Bell, everybody. WDIA in the morning, V101 in the afternoon, and we are building a legacy, the first 100 days. Welcome, everybody.
Woo. Make sure you check out Conji Anthony live at 9 on WREG News Channel. Somebody shout 3. 3. That's you, Conji. I like when she comes in, she says that on the promo, she'll say, what you say? She'll say, get in here. Y'all saw that? Get in here. So we are excited. Again, I am your host, co-host with Conji. Again, my name is Stan Bell, serving you well. And pushing more power. Thank you very much, thank you very much. Than a Duracell. So we are here to celebrate a lady right here who has come from the educational background, her parents involved, mom and dad involved, from Alabama, with a banjo on her knee. Yeah, y'all will get that later. Sweet home, Alabama. Roll Tide, that's right. Not red, but crimson. So Dr. Marie N. Feagins, you know the N stands for new, everything new. Come on, everything new. That's what I thought it stood for anyway. But I think it's something else. Maybe Nicole, maybe. Am I in the house? Dr. Marie Nicole Feagins. But she's still new. So Kanji, we're excited. I'm excited because she has work to do, and she's rolled up her sleeves already since April 1. Since April 1st, no fooling, this lady has come to our district, Memphis-Shelby County Schools, to do the work. And what I noticed about her, Kanji, she is enthusiastic. She's enthusiastic.
The Energizer Bunny.
And I often say, nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. So we know this district is in the good hands of Dr. Marie in Feagins. She has rolled up her sleeves since April 1st, even before it became official. She said, I'm ready to go to work. And she has met with thousands of students, educators, community leaders, stakeholders, folks. She's been in the barbershops while fellas getting their head chopped. She'd have walked in the barbershop. Stop! I want to hear from you. Who does that? This lady right here, Dr. Marie Nicole Feagins, superintendent of these Memphis-Shelby County Schools. So we're excited, Kanji.
And what's also exciting is the fact that we're going to get a progress report. We're going to get to see exactly the vision of this visionary leader for this district. So I am going to parlay, and you are going to take over, Stan. All right, I will see you.
Kanji will take a stroll over to my left and to your right. We're going to have questions given to students to answer, and then we'll come back and have a word or two from Dr. Marie Feagins. In fact, I want you to come on up and say hello, if you will, and then we'll show a video, just a brief remarks here to open up here, and then I'll take my seat, and then we're going to let this show roll like King George. We're going to keep on rolling. I'm crazy for real. Y'all figure that out, right? Come on, y'all. Give it up for Dr. Marie Feagins in the building. Our superintendent.
Hello. Microphone.
Hello. Oh, she's on? Okay.
Here we are. I won't be long, so we can go ahead and move along, but good evening to you. Thank you for being here. It's such a privilege to have made it to day 100 yesterday. We didn't have it yesterday because I needed to make sure I made it through day 100. So on day 101, I thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining the team. I see my board members here. I see some fresh faces, but most of these faces I've met with, and so it's good to have you in the room this evening as we celebrate, think about the progress that we've made, but certainly think more importantly about the hopes and dreams and turning them into plans and actions, because you're not going to be shiggling and giggling with me for long. You're going to want to see something actually happening. And so we will laugh tonight. I was almost a little hesitant to bring Stan. He's a comedian, so I'm not sure what he will say at some point about me. So I'm just crossing my fingers. But I'm glad that you all are here to have this evening with us, and also a little bit of conversation at the end. So enjoy.
One more time for Superintendent.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
From the dust, legacy builders, we earning our trust. Young minds, bright and bold. In the MSCS, we breaking the mold. I am a leader. Learning is the key. Knowledge is the game in the classroom. We aim for fame. Educate and possessions, minds collide, thoughts ignite, we let it all ride. Better schools, safer spaces, legacy builders leaving lasting traces.
And when we think about the power of education, this work cannot be done absent of the voices, of the presence, of the solutions that are driven directly by our students.
I'm happy to be here because I get to hear everyone's perspective about how our education should be.
I love how here we get to connect with students from different schools around the Memphis area. I love how Superintendent Feagins got us all together, and it even reformed my own original beliefs in my mind. And she kind of just gave us the opportunity to exercise our brains and take in new thoughts, take in new ambitions, and accelerate our confidence.
I'm here to learn. I'm here to lead.
I'm here to leave a legacy.
So, what an honor it is to sit here with our future, the legacy builders. Let's give them a round of applause, everybody. And if we could start from the far end, please, each of you say your names and the schools that you attend.
All right. So, hello, everybody. Thank you for coming here. I'm Elena Pinkney. I recently graduated from White Station High School, and I'm headed off to St. Louis University in about August. So, I don't have a whole lot of time with y'all, but thank y'all for being here.
Hello, I'm Miles Gregory. I graduated from East High School, and this fall I will be attending Howard University.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chase Hawkins, and I will be attending Bellevue Middle School, going to the 8th grade this year.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gerardo Ferro, and I attend Treadwell Middle School, and I'm going to 7th grade.
Hey, y'all. My name is Charlie Russell. I'm at White Station High School, and I'm a rising sophomore.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cameron Kirkendall. I am a graduate of Middle College High School. And this fall, I will be attending the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Go Vols.
Hey, everyone. My name is Sydney James. I attend John P. Freeman Optional School, and I'll be going to the 8th grade.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jaylee Gales, and I'll be going to East High School for my 9th grade year.
Does that not make you feel hope? If it doesn't, I don't know what does. All right, so who can answer, what is a legacy builder? You have the mic, young man.
See, Sydney calls me old. I've graduated, so she called me old. I defer to the young folk.
I would say a legacy builder is someone who is a part of a family of the Memphis-Shelby County Schools community. I'll also say it's someone who someone who knows that they can change it, like change the future and be the future, I'd say. As Dr. Marie, and also as Dr. Feagins says, she likes to leave a legacy. I would also say it's someone who has a plan and who has something to guide them to leave their legacy that they hope for.
Couldn't have said it better. Okay, now who can tell me why you think Superintendent Feagins wanted to have students involved in this transition?
I believe Superintendent Feagins thought that students should be involved because we are the foundation. No superintendent, in my opinion, has finally came to students and asked what we needed. We've always, in my opinion, not the administrators, but it's just the little things that have been overlooked, and sometimes the little things are students' feelings. So I feel that she went to the students to find the root of the foundation and actually the truth.
I feel like Dr. Feagins wants students to be in this because she cares about us. And like Mal said, she cares about our feelings and basically what we want to do with our district. How can we help our district and what problems need to be solved within our district? Because a lot of adults really don't want to hear what kids have to say, just being honest, because we kids. And Dr. Feagins really cares about us and wants to know where our head is. So that's why I say that Dr. Feagins wants us a part of this.
Okay, this one's for Cameron. What were you charged with doing on the transition team?
Thank you for the question. So, along.
Okay, Mayor Cameron.
Y'all so funny. But along with Miles and along with Sydney, we were charged to be the 3 co-chairs. We were charged with leading 100 of our peers from across the district, representing the 110,000 students that are a part of Memphis-Shelby County Schools. And we were simply here, as my peers have said or whatnot, to bring the issues directly to Superintendent Feagins. A lot of times we talk about the issues, we say them at that school level, but this was the first time for real, as we say, where we were able to take it directly to a superintendent. She didn't send anybody from her team or anything of that nature, but she listened to us directly and said, yeah. She listened to us directly and wanted to hear what we've been going through, what has happened, the goods, the bads, everything. She wanted to hear it, and from there, you see the results in front of you and what will come from it.
I knew I'd get it out of you. Okay, who can tell me the portrait of a graduate?
I can. Yay. That's me. So, some of you in this room might know me from the presentation I did on a portrait of a graduate. If not, let's hope you never forget me. So, the portrait of a graduate was really about the assets and characteristics that we want Memphis-Shelby County School students to have in order to become successful in the future. It's not only about graduating, it's about what you do with that, what plan you have. So values of communication, values of networking, leadership. We're also thinking about emotional intelligence when we're thinking about the portrait of a graduate there. And those are values that we think are extremely important to develop while you are in school, and those assets that you have will guide you much farther, much greater, and have you explore different heights while you are away from Memphis-Shelby County Schools.
I did not know emotional intelligence when I was your age. Wow, you're amazing. Emotional advanced. Okay, so if you could, Sydney, where's Sydney? Okay, Sydney, you spoke. If you want to answer this, or if somebody who hasn't spoken, to talk about a moment during this transition that opened your eyes and made you see just what the district is all about differently.
I would say the first ever Legacy Builders meeting we had, that's when everyone really first started to know each other and tried to communicate with people from outside of their school. And me being the middle schooler, just now getting to understand all of the stuff happening in the district, I thought that okay, the superintendents, they make the decisions, they're the leader, they do that. But no, because when Chairman J.B. Smalley, I don't know if he's here, but when he first came, he brought us together and made us see that we have a voice in what we want to happen, and we have a say, so we can basically change change the outcome of something. So I think that's what opened my eyes and made me see that everyone has a voice, and this is a family thing, not just one person does this, one person leads it all, one person's over everything.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I would like, if somebody who hasn't spoken, just tell me about your experience being part of this transition team.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I
Thank you.
I think it was a really good experience. Coming from White Station, you get to see all these other schools because, I don't think I'd ever interacted with a lot of other Memphis-Shelby County Schools people, and it's really good to see how other schools operate. And the differences and the similarities between our schools. So that was really eye-opening. I also think it's great to get input from the students. I just think that's really important.
And what about you, young man?
So one thing I liked about the transition with Dr. Feagins is that she was social, like she talked to every single student, and that's one thing I like because that's gonna make our community better, and that's like I like it a lot.
I would say there was a couple of things that I liked the part of this journey, and stating a couple. You know, the first time, as soon as we got there, we were already working, you know, already on feet, you know, hands-on and everything. And then I liked how everyone was able to present and share their knowledge and what they learned and all of their experiences on going on with the Memphis-Shelby County Schools District. You know, being able to just show how they think that we could change it as a district and all.
And on the far end, if you could just share one thing that, or whatever you think that you'll never forget about this experience, what was that thing?
I feel like there's a lot of things that I won't forget about this experience. One is talking to the superintendent. Of course, it's a great opportunity. She makes you feel heard, and that's what a lot of people don't feel in the school district as kids. We don't feel heard within our community or with other surroundings around us. So that's one thing I won't forget. Another thing is interacting with all the other schools. Like, I was talking to Waheba High School kids, and they was like, "What is Maxine Smith?" And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna tell y'all about it." So it was like a great experience interacting with everyone in this whole process.
Well, thank you. And I would like to thank you all for just being amazing. Another round of applause. And now we're going to get a quick highlight of Legacy Legends. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Coming together, just excited about what could take place. And as we transition from what could take place, the reality of learning the realistic expectations you can have on the district and figuring out ways that we can work within those realistic expectations to bring forth a plan that hopefully will move the district forward.
I think the Shelby County Commission and the district have needed to have a better relationship. And that's something that I'm excited about, that I think that the superintendent is interested in building those relationships and making sure that the funding body and the district are working hand in hand.
I think it's very effective to have such a diverse group of stakeholders who come together, because you get various viewpoints, you get opposing opinions, but more importantly, you just come together for shared solutions.
After the first 100 days, I hope that the folks of the school district get to see the innovative approach that this transition team and Dr. Feagins have taken towards really truly building and reimagining what education can look like in Memphis and Shelby County.
I think a lot of times the basic things are essential right before you take deep organizational change, right? That the right investment in funding in schools is in place, right? That you have a plan that families feel like they belong in the system, right? And just the overall brand of the schools, right? It's critical when you think about any district that's engaged in any long-term transformational process.
Think about the way to do the best work in anything, any organization, no matter what it is. It requires collaboration, and that requires a shared community thinking. And so for 60 plus folks to just say, absolutely, count me in. I didn't have to beg anyone or anything. They just said, yes, we're in. We really do want to see the district take a turn the corner, elevate, and actually play a part in that by providing our professional expertise, our respective backgrounds, our understanding of historical knowledge and experiences from being native Memphians and those who have transitioned into the space like me but have been here a lot longer. And so I'm so grateful, so excited, so proud, but more importantly to see how to keep the group connected in some way as we think about the work moving forward.
right? That goes to resources, that goes to money.
Money?
Yes.
Don't feel bad.
Like this.
And now for the Legacy Legends. If you will, please introduce yourselves and where you work.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Robinson McKessick. I have the distinct honor of serving on the Memphis-Shelby County School Board, also being a graduate of the former Memphis City Schools. Got to give a shout out to my superintendent, Dr. Willie Harrington, when I was a student. And I'm just really delighted to be here.
Hey everyone, I'm Danielle Inez, and I'm formerly the Director of Innovation for Shelby County Government, but as of about 3 weeks ago, I now lead a project management firm called All Ventures.
Good evening, everyone. Hendrell Remus. I'm the former Director of Emergency Management and Preparedness at Tennessee State University, and in my other role in the community, I'm the Chairman of the Tennessee Democratic Party.
I'm Jerry Chappell. I'm a PLC coach at Cordova High School, and I have worked in Memphis City Schools, Shelby County Schools, and Memphis-Shelby County Schools.
Oh my word. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Shibaru, and I am the Visual Art and Theater Advisor for Memphis-Shelby County Schools. I'm also a proud graduate and parent as well, and former teacher.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monica Newport, Chief of Staff at Latino Memphis, and I had the joy of serving on the Inclusive Excellence Transition Team, along with everybody else on here tonight.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Cynthia Alexander Mitchell. I am representing Christian Brothers University, but I also lived 25 wonderful years of my life as a teacher and administrator with Memphis City Schools and Shelby County Schools prior to becoming Memphis-Shelby County Schools.
Hello, my name is Kalila Horton Spencer. I'm a proud educator with MSCS, and I would like to give it up to all the educators out there in the audience. We are the hardest working group. We are resilient, and we know how to pivot when we need to. I'm also the Education Equity Task Force co-chair with Micah.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Collins. I'm a proud teacher. I have been teaching for 25 years, and I'm still living my dreams. I am the 2022-2023 Tennessee Teacher of the Year. And I work at John P. Freeman Option School under the leadership of Dr. Coleman. Thank you.
Last but not least, I guess, I'm used to being last. County Commissioner Mick Wright, representing District 3. Good to be with you.
Thank you all, and thank you for being part of this. And I do want to start before this all began. Anyone can jump in here, but if you could just talk about just your preconceived expectations coming into this transition.
So I managed Mayor Lee Harris's transition team in 2018 and in 2022 when he won re-election. And so right or wrong, I'm accustomed to your leader, your elected leader, or in this case, your appointed leader, selecting individuals that are gonna think, pretty much in lockstep, be as enthusiastic about the details as you are. And so when we got to that first kickoff meeting, I encountered people from the business community, from the philanthropic community, from our elected leaders at City Hall and in County Commission. And the perspectives were different. And so we didn't immediately agree on all of the things. And at first, that gave me a little bit of heartburn because I'm like, wait, we're supposed to be the cheerleaders. We're supposed to be backing up Dr. Feagins. But the further we went into the process, the more I realized that we were all backing up Dr. Feagins. But ultimately, we were going to have to bring forward a plan that this entire community, a hodgepodge of people that think in very different ways about how we can execute, how we can get things done. We were going to have to bring forth a plan that the community could adopt, and I think we did that.
Can I have somebody explain some of the challenges and some of the wonderful things that you saw during this transition? And I think more than one person should answer that. Why don't we go with you, Doctor?
I guess one of the most refreshing things that I experienced was the level of honesty in the room. I think that was probably one of the largest representation across the county of an opportunity of people who came from distinct different places, but they really had their own opinions, ideas, needs, wants, desires, disappointments, and also successes that they had observed. And so it was a safe place to really wrestle with coming to the real truth on behalf of the students in a way that didn't offend anyone, but put the students at the center of the conversation to help us understand at the end of the day, we don't have to agree, but what we do have to agree on is the children deserve better.
Can anyone else answer a moment?
I identified myself as a teacher leader, and I love advocating for students and teachers. So I was not surprised when Dr. Feagin invited teachers to the table because I had an opportunity to serve on the interview panel, and I could tell that she valued teacher and student voices. And when I first entered that space, I'm thinking, wow, these are a lot of valuable stakeholders. And teachers are at the tables. I was not the only teacher in the room, and so I wondered how teacher perspectives would be valuable, how it would be heard and seen. And so through that process, I felt that my voice mattered, that I had an opportunity to share insights and concerns, and I was able to represent the students, their families, and my fellow colleagues. So thank you, Dr. Feagins, for that opportunity.
So, Kanji, if I can jump in there, I have the unique perspective. By the way, I'm also a parent of this district, 4 children, 3 sons who all graduated from MSCS and are doing quite well, and my daughter's now going to 8th grade. I failed to mention that, so I got to give a shout out to my kids. But I have the unique perspective of being a part of both groups, the students and also our legacy builders and our legacy legends. There we go, legacy. And I believe the students are the ones who came up with those titles, so they were really, really good as a legacy legend. And I guess the challenge, I thought, was how are we going to make sure that these 2 groups that are operating separately, how are they going to make sure that they, in a sense, their ideas come together so that when they come to myself and to my board colleagues, of course, as well as Superintendent Feagins, that we can bring all that together to really affect change. And so that was challenging. I heard one student say earlier that adults really don't want to listen, and I'm like, ooh, I kind of bristled at that a little bit because, you know, we have a room full of amazing adults and so many more who that's all they do is just care about children, but making sure that disconnect that happens where they feel like they are being heard. And that's why it was so important as a part of this transition process that we heard from the students and we heard such a broad perspective of adults. And I think there's just, for me, there's this level of excitement. And I go back to when I was a student here in this school district, and you all, he's still a rock star as he walks through the room, Dr. Harrington. And so, but that level of excitement, I remember when I was a senior in school and how he gathered up students to hear from us. And he gave us these little gold cards. They were like little gold Amex cards. Not real, wannabe. But nonetheless, he was saying, invest in your future and come back and invest in your community. And that's that same level of excitement of bringing students together that I'm seeing now that takes me back to a time where we were all really excited about education within our district.
Can anybody share a hurdle that was overcome during this time?
I guess one of the main things when you bring a group of so many brilliant thinkers together, there are going to be some bold ideas. One of the reasons I joined the transition team is because I believe that if you're going to reimagine what education could be in this district, then it starts with thinking outside of the box. One of the main hurdles is how do you sit down at a table with people who love their schools in Memphis so much to say that, yes, there are some problems. Yes, there are some good things, and yes, there are some bad things. How do we fix those things to make them work for our students? How do we fix them to make them work for the future? Once you can get over that hurdle, then the doorway of innovation really opens, and the dialogue and the conversation really takes you to a place of reimagining what education can be. And I think that's a bold, innovative approach that Superintendent Feagins has taken. And I think ultimately that is going to be the decision maker. And when we look back 10, 15, 20 years from now and say, this is one of the best districts in the country, it'll be because of those hard conversations that we were able to navigate and work through.
So I'll say one of the challenges or one of the hurdles that we had to overcome as we were coming up with ideas to help Dr. Feagins and her transition plan is, are the resources there? You know, we have these ideas that are putting the children first, to build an equitable education that every child in Shelby County deserves. Are the resources there? With as many people that were in the room during those transition team meetings and as many students that were in the room, you're creating advocates. You're creating advocates to help build these resources, because everyone in that room had a voice that we all were very, very proud to make loud. And I think once we all realized that even though we have this hurdle of a lack of resources, we have the drive to want to obtain it and to push our leaders to get there, to create the Shelby County school system to rise to a level that we know we are capable of doing.
I think one of the struggles that we had to overcome as the transition team was about trust. So, you know, I'm from the district. I went to school in the district, worked for the district. You know, as a parent, I have, you know, a certain perspective of the district, and then there are other people in the community who have an entirely different perspective, and sometimes a negative perspective. And, you know, some of them voiced that we haven't really been the most trustworthy in the past. The perception of our school district and our students is negative in the community. And so we had to listen to that, you know, as a district person, I had to listen to that and think of, you know, ways that we can make our district better. Also, programs that we have that are state of the art, that are tops, that the community doesn't hear about, and ways to really amplify that to make sure that everyone in the community knows, for example, our college and career and technical education offerings, our great arts programs, our great optional programs. So we do have a lot to offer, but we also do have a lot of work to go, and you know, that trust needs to be built.
Facts.
I think for me, I was on the Inclusive Excellence transition team, and although we were talking about being inclusive as an educator, as a parent, as a community advocate, one thing that resonates with me is that a lot of folks do not feel like they belong. And there's a difference with being in the room where you are included and being in the room or a school where you feel like you belong. And so for me, I want us to be cognizant of the fact when we have parents who are coming into our schools or who are visiting district offices, that we make them feel like they belong. And for me, Dr. Feagins did just that with creating this transition team. She made us feel like we belong, like our voices mattered. And also, a lot of intellectual humility was needed as well in the room on all of the committees. What I mean by that is that sometimes the way we may think something should be carried out is not the best strategic strategy to be carried out. So we have to have that intellectual humility to listen, not just hear, but listen, and make our parents and our students and our teachers feel like that they matter and that they are not only included in this district, but they belong in this district.
And this is the final question. If maybe we could hear from some who have not spoken, just speaking of just looking into the future and what you're hoping you can continue to do to contribute to the legacy.
So I think that's a key question, and something that I came in on our very first day. The transition team went and visited some schools in the district and got to see students and teachers and what was happening in the context of the actual school day, and come face to face and just level with ourselves that what we're offering right now is not everything that the kids deserve. And so we've got to be better. And they need more teachers that are permanent teachers. And so there are all kinds of needs. But I also came in thinking that you would have these very distinguished transition team members, and we would come in with all the answers, right? And that's not true at all. At least in our case, what I found is that the district, they really already had the vision. They already knew where we need to go. What they needed from us was support. And so that's what I will leave here knowing, is that we all need to support not only Dr. Feagins, but this district.
What I would take away, the importance of collaborating, problem solving, and our collective responsibility to drive positive change within our district cannot be overstated. And I'm eager to continue to be a part of this process, and I'm committed because I'm going to demonstrate that on August the 5th when I stand in front of my classroom to continue to shape the future for our students, because they deserve the best education possible. And as they said on the screen, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
This process confirmed that we have the talent and the ability to solve our problems. We don't need to look to California or New York or even Nashville. The solutions are here, and we have the people who can do it.
And if I could add
So
one more
true.
thing.
Oh yeah, we're all like, one more thing.
One more thing.
No, go ahead.
One more thing. To be honest, not just with this transition committee, not just with Dr. Feagins being probably the most energetic superintendent I've seen, not just the people that are watching, but the people in this room. One thing we were able to really hone in on, and I think we spent a lot of our time in our first meeting, was who are you in the room? Because you are the resident expert in the lane in which you're assigned and represented in this room. The same difference goes for everyone that's in this audience. Collectively, there is nothing that we cannot do together if we come together and support this community the way that our students deserve. Greatness is among us, but we got to see ourselves as great first.
Thank you so much for your contributions in shaping the future of this system. The legacy legends, everybody.
Great meeting yesterday with MLGW, the staff, so we could talk just about things just like this. How do we do more of this? How do we get more of our students involved to have the types of opportunities that you all did over the past couple of days or weeks?
Received the Dean of Students position. I'm excited about that. I interviewed today with a couple of the administrative teams, and I'm excited because it's also an optional school to have a STEAM program, so I'm excited about that as well.
I said next is now. And so to get to the next, it is solely dependent on what we do now. And now is urgent. Yesterday was urgent. February 9th, when you named me, when you placed me on the table, it was urgent then. December 20th, when I interviewed as a candidate, it was urgent then. March 9th, when I submitted last year of 2023, it was urgent to me then. April 5th, on my birthday last year, when I learned I was not a finalist, I didn't make the top 5 first round, it was urgent for me then. So a year later, it is absolutely urgent. And it is unconscionable for us to think that it is not, when every child that I have met, laid my eyes on, their families, the leaders who serve them, and even the folks in this room who are clapping, they have shared that next is now. And so the urgency is now.
Thank you. That motion passes. Thank you. Teachers will get raised. Thank you. Resources will be in classrooms. Thank you. We will continue to do more to move that academic needle. Thank you. And now on to the next item.
Good job, Dr. Feagins. Pass your first button.
All right, everybody, one more time for the video and those who were involved in the video. Memphis-Shelby County Schools, yeah, learn, lead, and leave a legacy. Welcome to the Superintendent's Corner. Of course, I am excited to be sitting in the same area with our superintendent. You got a lot of work to do, as I mentioned before. Let's get right to it. First of all, again, welcome to Memphis.
Thank you.
And we want to say, sooner or later, we'll go back to saying the slogan that we had, the city of good abode. And by you being the leader of Tennessee's largest school district, I think you have play a part in helping us to become the city of good abode. First of all, how did you come up, or who came up with the slogan, learn, lead, and leave a legacy?
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Learn, lead, leave a legacy. Actually, when I entered as a candidate, I brought a booklet, and it said, learn here, leave a legacy. As I entered on the other side, I wanted to incorporate leadership, and so it became learn, lead, leave a legacy.
Great, outstanding. So, the takeaway for me this evening, we heard from the LBs, as I call it, the legacy builders, and the LLs, the legacy leaders, and those who have been here. My takeaway is from the students would be that they want somebody who cares. And we've heard the slogan, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. And that's where you come in. And then when we talk about the LLs, the legacy leaders, it appeared to me that they just want to teach. Your thoughts about allowing them to do that, teach, and allowing them to lead and to learn and to leave their legacy, students and teachers.
Yeah, I think when you just create a space for people to do what they do best, to be who they are, then you get what we got with our legacy builders and what we also got with the legacy legends. When I invited these individuals, no one hesitated, no one paused, no one asked that question, who all is going to be there? It was just, absolutely, I'll show up. I'll be there. Count me in. For our legacy builders, had the team to go to their schools, deliver it to them in invitations and make it special. We choose you, right? And so certainly in the fall we'll expand that. But for me, voice is voice. I've always believed that, yes, get into the room, absolutely get to the table, but more importantly, contribute your voice. Do something to shift the conversation forward. Add to it what you bring from your personal experience, certainly from your professional experience, but certainly leave the room better than it was when you found it. And that's by offering all of you. So thankful to all of them who served. You certainly had a chance to hear from them being in the environment, what I shared with them, I did offer everybody a chance to leave. It's not too late to leave, but once you decide that you are in this room, you can no longer other us. You become a part of us. You are now Memphis-Shelby County Schools, and you are responsible for going out into the immediate community, but wherever you go and speaking positively about us, using your respective space, name, influence to garner the resources that we need, and certainly to remain, as Commissioner Wright said, a supporter.
So I think I heard you say pretty much in layman's terms, no big I's, no little U's, and that kind of thing. So talk to me about reflect with us on your first 100 days in the district.
Okay, how much time do we have? You know, I would say that it has gone exactly the way that I hoped. It has been all that I prayed for. I think that for me, it was about being trusted, you know, with the privilege and the honor of the responsibility. 9 folks sat in a room. They sat, you know, for a couple of years almost, and ultimately at the dais and decided that we're going to throw it all on her. Our trust, our support, our challenging questions, our resolutions, our authentic desire to be great representatives of a community that they live in, and that they want to do right by, and they want to ensure that the leader that they are trusting will do the same. And so over these first 100 days, that has been at the forefront. Students and what they have shared, what their experiences are, but stretching myself across, you know, the 901 and hearing from the community, hugs and kissing babies, and really listening to the hopes and dreams of a community who, you know, want something more, want something, you know, elevated, but more importantly, wants to be included. And so I hope that is what the community has felt so far, and what they know will remain as the commitment.
Dr. Feagins, if you would, tell us about some of the impactful stories of feedback you've received while visiting schools and communities, and then we'll take a break. I know you do have a presentation, but talk about that impactful story or feedback.
We're up against the break.
Yeah.
Feel like I'm back on television. Impactful stories, all of them have been impactful, from the teachers who sat in the room during my interview and decided 100% yes, her. The impactful stories of sitting on the carpet with students and some of the lessons I caught. Others, I was clueless. I had no idea what was happening in the classroom. Sitting and listening to the conversations each time I visited a school. I've met with students and they shared, you know, we don't have books. If you could just do this one thing, can you get us some books? Can you make sure that we have what we need to carry out a lab? I heard from parents who say, you know, when you send the messages out, we appreciate it being in different languages, but can you send it out at the same time so that it doesn't feel like we are other? I heard from, you know, business folks who say, we want to support, but it's kind of hard to support. So if you do nothing else, can you kind of clean up the process to become a partner with the district, right? But moreover, I heard we want to be communicated with, so can you strengthen communication if you don't do anything else? And so I think along the way, we've been able to address a lot of that and place a focus on what we've heard. Can you make sure that you choose leaders who really care about, you know, the district, the city, the community, but most importantly, kids. And then I heard from kids who told me, can you raise the expectation that you have of our parents? And so there have been impactful feedback stories, and certainly some that have tugged at the heart as we think about our buildings and the needs there. And so it's been a good experience, but it's been a very balanced one as well.
All right, so Superintendent, I want you to buckle up. I want you, let's hear more about what people are saying about you since you've taken the seat. I got a video.
Okay.
Buckle up. This is your...
Memphis, we're on the move.
What I'm looking forward to the most is seeing my friends having awesome teachers and graduating with honors.
The focus on teachers makes me feel excited because we're on the front line and nothing happens without your teachers.
I think it's awesome that they're investing in better teachers and giving teachers what they need to make our school system great.
Moving Memphis means everybody doing this work together.
Take advantage of all your opportunities.
Lock in. Keep your mind sharp. You got this.
I can't wait for this new school year and our students to come in and get right down to business.
Next school year, I'm excited about the challenging AP classes, and I'm also excited about the new engagement and responsibilities that I have in school and after school.
It makes me so happy about the profession that I chose. I cannot wait for the upcoming school year, and I'm so excited about what's to come for teachers.
So I'm excited about the direction that the district is moving in. I'm excited for the 110,000 children that are going to see more help in their school buildings, things that they as legacy builders have asked for. I feel like our superintendent has listened.
What I'm looking forward to the most is prom and walk across the stage and make my parents proud.
Our students come first. And we, in our mindset, if it's to serve the students, that's the only thing we need to be thinking about.
Memphis-Shelby County Schools is at a crossroads. But one thing is clear, we all want the best for our schools and our children.
As we think about what kids want and deserve, that's what this is all about. And so I'm excited about the privilege to lead and certainly about the privilege to lead with leaders.
Although we have challenges to overcome, together we can find solutions. Scan the QR code or visit scsk12.org. By working hand in hand, supporting our schools, and believing in the potential of every child, we can move Memphis.
Let's move Memphis together.
Learn, lead, leave a legacy.
Yeah, give it up for the video. Yeah, learn, lead, and leave a legacy. What I like about what I've seen so far, Dr. Feagins, you've already shown your leadership abilities. And when I heard that, when the changes in the district and all things happened with folks having to reapply for their jobs, and I've read somewhere you said, it wasn't anything easy about that, but when I make a decision to do something, I want to own it. And you owned it appears. And that's what leaders do. And when you look at it and you think about it, when you see a leader, I often say leaders are like eagles. They don't flock. You see them one at a time. And that's what we've noticed about you. And that leads me to a question. When we talk about the transition team that you assembled and you got on board to join you, how has the transition team's work informed your approach and your priorities?
Sure. So I think when you bring together a group of individuals with such diverse backgrounds, then you're going to get a lot of, you should think about this, you should do this, or have you considered this? And do you know this in terms of historical context about the city? Certainly you heard everybody mention there are two districts and then now this district. And so, a lot of shifts have taken place. I think what I've been able to do is to hear from everyone and maintain a balance because, the board ultimately sets the charge, establishes the priorities about what is important, what we need to focus on. And so I've used some of that professional expertise from the individual members, from their respective seats and lenses, to really sharpen, the way I think about things. Some things I've paused on. I know folks think I've done a whole lot, maybe ripped the Band-Aid off in some areas, but there are a lot of things that I have not done as we try to, strike a delicate balance with time as well. And so, those 60 plus folks who chose to say yes, if you will, have really served to prove quite instrumental in keeping a level head. Hey, make this phone call here. Hey, you need to call your board members a little bit more. You probably need to call this one, first. And so it's respectfully, it's been helpful, to just really think about the city of Memphis and the authenticity of a space. What I was told when I got here, if we like you, we like you. If we don't, we don't. Memphis is like a jealous girlfriend, is what someone said. And so, I took all of that and digested it and wondered, jealous girlfriends, they do strange things. And so,
yeah, they do.
So I have treaded the waters and navigated the way with all of the advice and all of the perspectives, and just pulling on some in some moments, and putting some others in my pocket and pulling on them. But all of it has proven very instrumental.
All right. Memphis is a different animal, and we are unique in and of itself. And you've come to know that, but you're here. So it's time to get the work done. One more question. We're going to show a bit of your presentation to our audience. I see, speaking of leadership, I see several elected officials. I even see the Honorable Paul Young, Mayor of Memphis, in the building. Got to show love. You got your parents in the house too, don't you, Dr. Feagins?
Absolutely.
I see Mr. Darrell. Come on, Mr. Darrell Feagins, could you stand up? Come on. Let's see the Sup's daddy. And Mama's over there. Mama, hey, that's Sonia, Miss Sonia, right?
Daddy wants you to stand up. He wants you to stand
come
up.
on, stand up. Come on, Mr. Feagins, y'all. Talk about leaders. Mr. Darrell Feagins and Mrs. Sonia Feagins. Miss Feagins, could you stand? Let's get you up. We got to get you on camera too, Mama. All right, one more question, and we're gonna have your presentation of findings and recommendations and those overarching themes, if you don't mind. Speaking of the transition team, what are some key findings from the transition team's work that have resonated with you? Any common themes come to mind, or anything that's emerged?
Common themes for sure. So everyone agrees, hey, can you fix the buildings, and can you do it yesterday? Everyone agrees that we need to improve student achievement. That the performance has, been as such for too long. I think that some of the other common themes that we all know in terms of addressing mental wellness and thinking about that from students, but also for staff, for our leaders. And then inclusion of the community. And what that looks like at every level, right? And so certainly we send emails, certainly we do events, but what does community inclusion and partnership look like when you do it to its highest degree? I think from our students it is, can you, do something about the food? Can you, get us a gym in some of our spaces? But what really stood out was when one of the young leaders shared that she was waiting on the bus at 5:30 a.m. and it was dark and it never came. And so that sent me back immediately to get, an app so they would know where the bus is. And then certainly that's how we added the late bus and some things that we were able to do. And so, the students' voice for sure, it's not that it just matters, it is incredibly required and significant. And it showed up in the budget that was approved. And many of these, decisions or findings that came from the transition report, I think you'll be able to see those reflected as well.
Fantastic. All right. You've heard a lot from students, from educators, from community members. You've heard quite a bit, and you've hit the ground running. Let's get into your presentation. I do believe we have a presentation of findings and recommendations and all the hopes and dreams we want to show. We're ready for the presentation now. Is there a video with this?
No, we're done with videos.
You going? Okay, so we're done with video.
We're videoed out, right?
All right, boss.
We're videoed out.
Presentation time.
Absolutely.
All right.
Before I start, I'd like to say, I am not here, obviously, without my mom and dad, but certainly without my mom and dad. I am a daddy's girl. My mom is my pulse to the world. All of who I am is shaped by them, and so thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mom. These are two of the hardest working folks I've ever seen. So my drive, I arrive at work by about 5:38 a.m. every day because I watch them wake up early and go do the same. I watched them work 2 to 3 jobs to make sure that we had not just what we needed, but what we wanted. Neither of them had the opportunity to go to college, and so, but college was the only option and expectation in the house. I couldn't bring home curvy letters. Yeah, and so when I say I'm a proud Head Start kid and to be able to sit on this stage, I don't take any of these moments and milliseconds lightly. And so when kids say they feel heard, I know what that feels like to be on the outside just a little bit. And so I say thank you to my folks for being an example of great work ethic, about treating folks better than they treat you, about giving grace.
Mama and Daddy. Teach.
Yeah. My daddy brought a shotgun with him to this weekend when he came. And so I did have to ask him, where are we going? But, you know, we're from the South, a very small town, and we hunt and do things like that. And so I've seen a whole lot of my life, and I'm so thankful for them. And so I just wanted to start out by saying thank you to them, and for sure. As we get into the presentation, though, as we think about these first 100 days and building a legacy and what that means, I also want to say thank you for this festive event. I shared with the board in my interview that I'm a professional beggar. And so what that means is you treat your staff how to be professional beggars as well. And so this is courtesy of and from the contributions of International Paper, KSA K-12, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Sylvamo, Memphis Allies, and the YMCA. So thank you very much for this evening and making it possible.
Now let's talk about student achievement and those findings and recommendations.
So I started out with hopes and dreams. Are you going to stay here? I just want to make sure I do this right. Okay, great. Hopes and dreams survey, asking folks to share your hopes and dreams. Hopes being those things that you wanted us to focus on immediately. And then the dreams, you know, what do you want us to focus on, you know, over the next few years? And so by the numbers, you can see folks participated across, you know, the district community and provided their responses about what they wanted to see us focus on. And so we just got these results back. The top 5 hopes, you can see enhanced compensation, empower teacher voice and autonomy. Let's take a look at that curriculum and instruction, Board Member Williams. Let's prioritize students and address student discipline concerns. And then those top 5 dreams, and again, this is across the board, no specific you know, area in terms of person who submitted. Right-size central office, the people said it. Empower teacher voice and autonomy, enhance community engagements, enhance compensation, and prioritize students. So you can see that the hopes and dreams are very similar across the community. When we get to student achievement, we all know what it means. We have to take a look at our programs, think about the practices and the policies that shape the same for every student to become life ready. I think no longer are we trying to pigeonhole students to say you have to go to college or that's your only choice. You can only go to the military if you didn't pass, you know, English with a B. And so just thinking about it from a broader perspective, what it means for students to be able to be competent leaders. The portrait of a graduate, I'll make sure that we flash that. The students work very hard on that, so I want you to be able to see what they've determined that every Memphis-Shelby County Schools graduate should leave with in terms of those characteristics. But some of the findings from student achievement, certainly a focus on early literacy, and certainly the transition team had access to some data and really took, you know, a deep look. I also opened up the first meeting by just being transparent and sharing where the district currently sits in terms of performance. Middle school was an area that certainly we need to focus on. You notice a significant decline in English language arts proficiency, certainly a need for early identification of college readiness. And so what that means is we're just waiting too late to allow our students access and the exposure needed to the advanced courses that can prove quite beneficial. Certainly in high school, we see too many of our students falling short of the ACT benchmarks, and certainly that is an area that the state focuses on. And so when we get these letter grades back, this is a part of that. And then chronic absenteeism. Certainly we know that that is one of our main areas of focus. If we can get kids in school, then we can take care of everything else. And so the recommendations you can see, I asked them to break it down short term, meaning over the next 6 to 18 months, and then long term, 3 to 5 years. And so certainly those literacy expectations, can we make sure that we're doing some of the same things across the district in every school, right? So that every student gets the access to a viable curriculum. They have a passionate teacher who knows the content. And so that's some of the recommendations in the short term. And then offer some training for middle school teachers, and then certainly enhance the ACT standards training. Long term, can we get some hubs for some resources that could prove beneficial in these areas? And we think about expanding high school internships, give students access while they are in school to have the job, to have the hands-on learning experience that they need. Business operations, increasing organizational effectiveness and efficiency. Those two things are important. Nothing else happens if we are disjointed in our actions and efforts, and certainly it lends us to be ineffective. And so the focus here in terms of the findings was facility maintenance. We know we have outdated, underutilized buildings. I think the emphasis here is, can you do something about the underutilized buildings for sure? And that means over the course of these next few months, we'll begin to shift as a board and superintendent and governance team of having the real conversations about schools in our district, who's currently seated in there. We know the meaning and the value of a school to a community, but when we get to the table, it's time to have the sharp conversations about what the way forward must consist of as we think about the current maintenance costs and what that means. Staffing, we certainly have several vacancies, but more importantly, what's significant here is where the vacancies lie. Certainly the areas in terms of content, but more importantly in which schools. And so when a school is already historically underfunded, underestimated, and certainly underperforming, then when you have a large number of vacancies there, then you know the challenge is exacerbated. And then the facilities management here, just overall how we manage our different spaces. Nutrition services certainly is something that came out. Food inconsistencies is a tactful way to say it, what we're seeing across the district in our spaces. But I want to say thank you to that team of individuals who get up bright and squirrely in the morning, 1 and 2 a.m. to make it happen for us across the district. And so while we acknowledge that we always have some room to grow, I went and stepped into the freezer. I saw the space and I looked at what they do. And so certainly I'll share some things on the other side that I know will make them happy, but just acknowledging some opportunities there for training and equipment as well. Transportation, we talked a lot about and heard a lot about after school transportation, the issues there. And then a shortage of CDL qualified drivers. And so, you know, we talk about vacancies in the classroom, but we have vacancies and a need just across the district in terms of the types of services and supports that we provide. And then safety and information technology. Security issues, we think about that from an IT perspective as well as the opportunity to strengthen safety in our buildings. And then an outdated IT infrastructure, which of course opens us up to hacking, and all that comes along with 21st century knowledge of software. So you see the recommendations here for the next 6 to 18 months, and then long-term 3 to 5 years. I think we all know that we have a comprehensive facilities plan that is forthcoming, that the community will be engaged and involved in and contributing to as we think about modernizing our spaces, but certainly being more effective and efficient in the way we do the work. Strategic communications and partnerships. Partnerships, and then communication, right? Being clear with the communication, being consistent with the communication and the types of structures and platforms that we use, but also being committed to the types of collaboration that needs to take place with our communication. And that's across the board. That's with board members, that is certainly with our teachers and our school staff, that is public facing with our community, that is with our partners that we have, those that want to become partners, and those that we need to do a little bit of massaging to renew in that particular joint effort to move the district forward. A bit of autonomy was noted, meaning we're doing things a little different across the district at various schools. And so what you'll be able to see this year is a cascading of information. Essentially what the desire is, that is what you hear from the superintendent should ultimately make it to the community by being filtered through central office, principals to their teachers, and then certainly you should be hearing the same things and seeing the same things just as you are this evening. ESL support, there's a need for improvement there for our non-Spanish speaking families, our multilingual learners and families just in general. I've said it across our mission and vision sessions that, you know, there's a general misconception that students who are migrating here, choosing the city, choosing the state, or the state and city choosing them, but ultimately calling Memphis-Shelby County Schools home, is that they have a deficit of some sort. But our students come and they know 5 to 7 languages, and English is just an additional one, right? They come to us knowing Arabic and Swahili, and they can speak it very fluently, but English becomes that area of opportunity. And so we certainly have a great opportunity here to do better about how we engage and interact, making that journey to Memphis-Shelby County Schools, but also through the district, one that is more warm and welcoming, and certainly providing the types of resources that they need in a timely way. Partnerships, a lack of a clear framework for that, cumbersome processes, you just make it too hard for us to be involved. That's essentially what this is sharing here, and it's been said just like that to me, and so I appreciate, you know, just the straightforwardness there. Certainly transportation again, and then parent engagement. Limited initiatives. Folks say they want more. Like, give us more opportunities to be engaged and supportive before you say that we're not involved and we're being apathetic and we're choosing not to show up for our kids. In my nearly 20 years of experience, I haven't met a parent or a family or a caregiver yet that has said, I don't want to be involved. And so it is figuring out, you know, what those respective modalities and ways could be. But parents have to be involved. And here's that high expectation, legacy builders. This is the call for our parents to certainly to ask the questions, to help us understand what it is that is necessary to strengthen that engagement and partnership. And so you can see short-term, long-term here, an org chart. Member Williams, they're asking for the org chart. And so we have the org chart, and it is ready, and it will be available publicly. So you can see names, you can see who to call on. That is, you know, about being efficient. You shouldn't have to call around the district to figure out who to call, you know, for houselessness. Developing on-campus college exposure programs and establishing school-specific needs lists for faith-based partners. So I think the faith-based, right next to the business huddle that I held, was the largest in terms of participation and support and leaning in and really wanting to be connected. And so we have some work to do there as well. As we move on to next level readiness, you heard me earlier share that we don't want to pigeonhole our students into just one way forward. The desire here, the goal here is that by virtue of having your educational journey and experience with Memphis-Shelby County Schools, that you leave with a level of education that allows you to have options to do life on your own terms. So if you want to join a military branch, by all means do so. If you want to go directly into the workforce, by all means do so. But if you want to go to college and do all of the above, I share with my students, go to the military and make them pay for school, you know, right? So if you want to do all of the above, we want our students to feel capable and competent and ready to go do those things. Some of the findings here, just awareness and participation. I remember at one of the barbershop talks, a coach was like, we have CTE centers, like we have our own. And so it's just general awareness that we're lacking here of what exists for our students, as well as for our parents and families. Skill development, just students lacking that. Certainly our workforce community sharing much of that. We're receiving students who don't have the skills, right? You know, not only to enter, but to maintain the way forward. And so when we think about employability and what that looks like for the city of Memphis, we are contributing directly to the workforce. And so certainly our work here will prove incredibly instrumental as we think about our partnerships with the city and certainly Shelby County and what our businesses could utilize in terms of a workforce that will come directly from Memphis-Shelby County Schools. And then program utilization, certainly awareness of our centers, but when you walk in, you know, we have the opportunity to strengthen enrollment there, or think about how to place some of those activities and courses and pathways directly into our neighborhood schools. Kids don't want to leave their schools. You heard the pride that was exhibited from our legacy builders. They love their schools, and so just thinking more about how we place those in those buildings. And so you can see some of the short-term and long-term recommendations about what that could look like, increasing our certifications along the way. Students should be able to leave with Microsoft Word certification, a Google certification. At this point, there's probably a YouTube University certification, but they should be able to leave with something tangible to go directly into the workforce. And certainly not absent, it's not here, but artificial intelligence, just knowing we're already there, so we're not trying to get there, it is already here. And so looking forward to having conversations with XAI and just really thinking about what that looks like for the district and our students. Inclusive excellence, we talked a little bit about it already, so I won't read it to you, but school climate. Our greatest opportunity right next to communication is how people feel. You know, when you asked me earlier about some of the stories that have been impactful, what has been most disheartening is just listening to how people feel and how they've been treated, bullying, intimidation, and just naming a lot of that. And I've shared that I own a lot of things, but I don't own that culture. But I do own a better way forward. And so just listening to some of the stories that have been shared from across the district, central office, school-based folks, our community members in terms of how they've experienced the district has been something that, you know, has kept me up at night at some points. But family and community engagement, and then certainly accountability. Folks want to know, what are the clear metrics so we can help you, help yourself monitor how we're moving forward. And on the other side of all of this, we will all know if we were successful, where we need to pivot and make some adjustments, and certainly where we win and have gotten some wins in. And so creating a multicultural student interpreters program, some of the long-term recommendations, and then certainly reviewing hiring, having some cultural competence training as we think about learning and understanding different cultures, and then certainly community engagement. So certainly this work has not been without challenges, and it will remain the same as we move forward. So just naming some of those very plainly is just an aging infrastructure, deferred maintenance. It's here now, 500 million or so. I heard it mentioned in the video. Now we're 1 billion and growing. Deferred means we left it. We pushed it to the side, and so now we are here, and we can no longer defer. And so those funds have to come from somewhere, and so that is a challenge. Teacher shortage, this is a national, challenge. It is not just Memphis-Shelby County Schools. This is across the United States. The field itself deserves the elevation and the level of respect that is deserved for the work that is done in the classroom, and so I think we have the opportunity to do that. By recognizing the value that every teacher brings every day. I've said it before, and that's where the magic happens, is in the classroom. And so as we work to elevate and sharpen and build the respect that needs to come along with the field, I think we will see some teachers return to the district, to the field, but certainly we'll be able to get some of our students, like Mr. Cameron, you heard him earlier. Cameron is a principal already, but Cameron does desire to be a principal, so we'll hold a school for Cameron when he finishes.
Cameron Kirkendall, principal.
Absolutely. We will be able to draw, and attract some of our students to the field as well to make this a space and the type of work that they want to do. And moving from remediation to innovation is a challenge. When you have been underperforming in anything for so long, that becomes the norm. It kind of becomes the culture. And so moving from a space of where we are remediating, and we can get into innovation, right? We can get into hybrid learning, and we can get into carving out the last 2 years of a student's educational experience so they can have an apprenticeship and an internship. They can all leave with an associate's degree and their high school diploma. That's innovation. That's what we desire for every student. A little challenging to do that when we're remediating and we're trying to accelerate and bring students up. from being multiple grade levels behind. And so we have our greatest work there. And then certainly, you know, the statistics that exist, that chronic absenteeism has increased since we've received schools coming back from the Achievement School District. We welcome them, but we want to be very clear and honest about, you know, what that does for our, you know, our statistics, our data. And these are real challenges. When you look at those numbers, you know, those are real. That means, you know, that only 17% of students are proficient in math. I like to flip the numbers on their head. These are written a little differently. But when we think about what the challenges are, it certainly requires us to move forward. We can't sit in what those gaps are and the deficiencies. And so what's the vision? What could the future hold for us? For our 115,000, when I started, it was 110,000, and I said, and growing. And so now we are 115,000 strong students who are choosing or being voluntold that Memphis-Shelby County Schools will be their home for education. And so as we think about the vision, we want to be very clear about what we've done. A delicate balance of boasting, because we do have great work to do, but great work is happening. We have a team that has been outstanding with a leader who has pushed very hard. I own that. I acknowledge that. Not apologetic about that. Kids deserve a whole lot, and we are the leaders who are called for now to do what is required for what is next for them. And so that's where Next is Now came from, because the decisions and the actions we take now determines what happens next for these bold young leaders. And so been across 75 schools, literally hit the ground running. I needed to see what was happening, what that experience was feeling and looking like for our students. I've talked with students in multiple focus groups. Certainly I've looked at data, you know, more than probably anyone else. Know the numbers. I think the numbers are important because it allows me to ask the questions about who the individuals are, who's connected to these numbers. And then that allows us to ask the sharper questions about what does little Stan need? What does his family need? And so we make it personal. A comprehensive school profile review, so understanding the schools, understanding the sides of the community and the pride that comes along with it. And so looking at each school, we like to do the cookie cutter approach too often in the field. And so for me, it's about understanding certainly what does the district need, but what does every school need? And when we take a look at more than 165 spaces, they all look the same to a certain degree, but they look incredibly different in terms of what they require. I implemented ACE days, Achieving Campus Excellence, where principals, every principal sat in that hot seat is what they called it. I didn't call it that. And they shared, they explained their data. What I believe is let no one know more about your school, your space better than you. And so what's happening in your building? And more importantly, what are you doing about what's happening or not happening in your building? And then most importantly for me, tell me what you need. Can you name the needs so that we can meet them? And so ACE days went very well. Charter leaders were there. And so when we think about collaboration, I've said it, that wherever kids are, excellence should be there. And so charter is not other for me. It is where students are, and that's where excellence should be as well. So they were there as well. Academic audits for sure. Taken a look at the fundamental skills literacy plan and spoken with, you know, the leaders and partners in that work as well about what that could look like moving forward. And then I've taken an audit about what access looks like to co-curricular and extracurricular activities, advanced pathways, apprenticeships, arts, language, world languages, and athletics. Looking at it by the numbers, how many students are involved or not involved. And when you think about involvement, that's the key to all the things that we're talking about. It's getting students to be in school, which is attendance, and then it's getting them attached and connected to the schools. And so if we are offering debate team, the expectation this year is for every student to be connected to at least one organization, and that's how we move forward. In student achievement also, We've talked a lot about schools and designations, about grade letters, and everywhere that I've been, I've worked in the schools that were the bottom, 5%, lowest performing in the state, whatever you want to call it. They've been called everything, over the course of this particular year or span of education, SUP, SOAR, and Ignite schools. And so what you're able to see here is what we've done already and what we'll move forward with doing. We're celebrating our students. We have a Come to Win, Count on Me every day for our students in terms of our attendance campaign. And then you can see there, Operation Graduation. More than 500 students were off track when I started. Challenged students to give it one more shot. And so we got that down to less than 100 in May. So looking forward to seeing that show up in our graduation rate. As we take a look at partnerships and next level readiness, certainly strengthening what it looks like there with sponsorships, increasing student engagement and awareness, and then looking at our external apprenticeships and opportunities that are provided also. As we look at talent management, you already know these numbers as you've heard the budget and the explanation there, and so you're just seeing it here. I think what's new here, what I wanted to share tonight, is that we are increasing compensation there. You see it for our nutrition service supports. That increase will be 6%. Our school-based clerical, hello there, 14%.
Yeah.
Our electricians, as we think about the facilities opportunities that we have, that increase will be 19%. Our HVAC technicians, 20%. Plumbers, 17%. Plant managers and to building engineers, we're making that shift 10%. And so you're looking at a $3.4 million investment in compensation for those respective valued individuals as we hit the ground running to fill a lot of those vacancies as well. We filled a lot of our vacancies from our hiring blitz, and so you see us going to Birmingham and Mississippi coming up here as we think about looking for certified teachers. I've certainly had conversations with the retirement teachers associations and asking them to come back home. Just give me 1 year to get us, get our feet beneath us as we think about what our students deserve and need in the classroom. And so our LEAD Academy is how we will support the professionals as they come into the district, but certainly as we think about what the needs are within the district. Looking at business operation, we've been very transparent with Project Build about the needs. We have more than 7,000 work orders. They've come down just a little bit, but we've been very transparent about putting that on the website so that you can follow by school what's happening in the building. Where's the bus? We'll implement that in the fall so that you can see where the bus is. And that young lady who shared that she was out at 5:30 a.m. doesn't have to stand there by herself in the dark. Our MSCS specialty license plate, we're looking forward to the support there, that bill being placed for us. And so hopefully we'll be able to have our own license plates. That's a way for us to get or funds for the district as well as we think about the needs. Certainly most of you, if not all of you, participated in at least one or more. I saw several folks at all of the VIP community tours, and so we did that. Met with the multilingual community and heard some specific needs there and how we can do better, and partnering with them for sure. I've attended huddles, more than 500 folks across dynamic businesses and community organizations. These are huddles, meetings, events. These are not the number of people. I have slept, but this is important. This was important for me. I met with 20 state representatives, and certainly you've seen the Barbershop Talk series, and then just maintaining an open line of communication directly with the superintendent. I think folks have appreciated that. MSCS matters. We're expanding our Welcome Center hours. I thought about it, what happens after 5 p.m. or what happens before 8 a.m., 9 a.m. for those who are working overnight or for those who have questions beyond what we consider traditional work hours. And so we have remote jobs posted in order to support this expansion to be better, more available for our families and for our district community. Legacy University, a lot has been asked about how we will partner with our parents. They've asked for specific sessions, and so we'll provide those from FAFSA to those who they're adopting, students, foster care. Those needs are individual and unique. And then there's just general, hey, I'm entering kindergarten and pre-K, what could that look like? And so at these different transitional steps and phases of the experience, we'd like to be able to walk shoulder to shoulder with our families. We did hire or post a position for our multilingual student interpreter job. I believe that, that is a special skill set, highly marketable, but I also believe in paying folks for those skills, and so our students will have the opportunity to meet our need there as well. In this area, you've heard a lot of this already, but what I've committed to with the media is weekly check-ins. That has helped. They didn't print everything they could have printed, and they didn't run every story they could have printed. Shout out to Daily Memphian. I hope that I've smiled enough tonight that you can run some beautiful photos of me without looking. Love all of my media friends, and I know how you captured those photos, but hopefully we give you something better to capture. But have appreciated the support of the media and just sharing clear stories, although one wasn't very clear, but committed to that. Initiated a review of communication methods and practices, a cadence with board members, meet with most of them every week, talk to some every day, and others just when they'd like to know, additional information. But for me, it's about doing what's best for those leaders and what they need. I've met with the mayors. Both mayors showed up on day one for me. They've been very supportive, both Mayor Harris and Mayor Young. The full councils, hello Memphis City Council and hello to the Shelby County Commissioners, our funding body, met with all of them as well. Our law enforcement officers and agencies, and just strengthening our partnerships with our first responders as we think about the work there as well. And so certainly thrilled about what is to come with strengthening those partnerships, meeting with delegates and having the conversations about how we really lead the way as the largest district in the state in shaping policy that not only impacts us, but could certainly pave the way for all districts, but certainly ours, as we think about the impact that is happening deeply and more significantly for our students. Established an Office of Partnerships and Development. We've had mission and vision sessions that have been fully participated in so folks can really contribute in what the way forward looks like. Challenge the media team, and I want to say thank you to them for accepting the challenge and stepping up. We need to tell our own story. We are the media, and so they've been doing very well with that and telling, the intricacies of our spaces and really leading at the forefront about what our students are doing, what our staff is doing, and then certainly the pulse of the district, sharing that out. Courageous conversations with leadership about what excellence looks like and feels like. Those sharp conversations for me are most important. Senior leaders probably get it the most. Those folks who are the faces of the district now, folks are depending on us to get it right. And so having the types of conversations that are necessary to keep the bar high. And then certainly continuing the student inclusion of their voices. I'll expand Legacy Builders. We'll have 5 representatives from each school, and I'll meet with them quarterly. And so we'll expand what those voices look like. I'm excited about that as our students prove very instrumental in this process. Wanted to be clear about what the supports look like as those personnel decisions prove very sharp in terms of how it was rolled out, and what the community perspective was about what this really means and could look like. Network support, you see something represented from each dish or department in our district that will support the 7 networks. In those networks are cohorts of schools, and so they will be surrounded by somebody from a hearing office, hearing and appeals, CCTE, FACE, mental health, instructional support. You also see the support here directly in schools, and so when I shared, hey, the supports belong in the classroom or as close as possible to the classroom, that's what that looks like. And so what I've shared with every principal is we absolutely have to move every school at least 1 grade letter by June 30th of next year. Certainly the report comes out in October, but with these types of supports, we should be able to do great work if you utilize the supports well. So the work is happening now, and we need your help now. And so you can certainly help move Memphis now. We've run through many of these ways. Academically, you can tutor. Certainly you can, remain as an advocate. We need mentors, and so I will ask every central office person to be a mentor. It will be called Champs. So we'll take on about 5 to 7. That will get us nearly 15,000 students in grades 6 to 9 as we think about the need to focus on our middle grades students. And so we'll be able to start that in the fall. We will also contribute to substituting ourselves, and so all of us, senior leaders, 1 day a month, we are contributing to serving as substitutes. That keeps our ears to the ground. That keeps our ears to the ground. That's how we make the best decisions for the district, being right in there in the throes of what's happening. Nothing is happening at central office. It's all happening in a school. And so sharing our story and then certainly contributing to resources. You can email us here if you want more information, and certainly there is a QR code provided to you. And our next opportunity to hear more about what the progress looks like is the State of the District, scheduled for October the 16th. That will be the first chance we get to see where we are progress-wise in terms of all of these supports, lady. We hope it works with what you're doing, and this will be the opportunity to hear that. And so thankful for all of the support that has been given and what we know is to come.
Dr. Marie Feagins, everyone. Got a lot of work to do. Come on, Dr. Marie Feagins. And if you notice, I didn't want to say too much because, you know, she has it laid out. And I didn't want to interject much, but I know that the first duty of love is to listen. And Dr. Feagins has been all over the city. I mentioned to her earlier, she's been more places than I have, and I've been here all my life. And she's done all of that in 100 days. So, I mean, she's hitting the ground running since April 1. And all I can say is, wow. And for those of you who are in the audience who were showing and exercising that love, because the first duty of love is to listen, and many of you stayed, you took notes, cell phones up, not to just take pictures, but to record. And you have set the bar.
Over here, I'm looking like a pork chop. Yes, Mr. Tito Langston is Assistant Superintendent of Operations. He got a haircut just for tonight. I want to share that. Just for tonight, my guy. Hello there to you. Ms. Camelin Turner coming to us by way of Atlanta and Alabama. She will serve as Special Assistant to the Superintendent. Dr. Angela Whitelaw is Deputy Superintendent of Education Services. Ms. Michelle Stewart will be the Facility Services Officer. Dr. Janice Tankson will serve as Assistant Superintendent of Schools. Have Dr. Jared Miracle. They said, hey, I guess she's trying to work a miracle, but it is pronounced Miracle. He will be the Executive Director of Literacy. Well known to all, but I'll introduce him to some. Dr. Rod Richmond will be the Transformation Officer.
Richmond.
Found him tucked in a corner, and I got him off the shelf and said, come on over here and let's do some of the heaviest work. He will oversee some of my most important work, which is SUPT schools. And so that's more than half the district. We will go hand in hand and walk with our leaders to move those schools out of that letter grade of D and F into Ignite schools and maybe even SOAR schools. And then last but not least, my guy, Mr. Bailey here will be the General Counsel, Justin Bailey. Senior leaders so far have a couple of positions to fill, but in no hurry. You got to get it right. Slow to hire, quick to fire. I think I read that somewhere. But slow to hire. Get it right on the first round. We have a lot of work to do, and so we don't want to be mid-year looking for leaders. I want to say a special thank you to our communications team for this evening, for making this happen.
88.5 and Content Creation Center.
Absolutely.
Mr. Best and Mr. Everson and Newberry, all the team.
I want to say thank you to our co-chairs of the transition team, Mr. J.B. Smiley Jr. and Ms. Stephanie Everson Phillips.
Council Chair.
And then certainly last but not least, I want to say hello and thank you to board members for walking this journey with me, for asking the tough questions, but for being a faithful support, for being advocates for the community, and nothing short of that. So thank you to all of you. There are some still here. I wanted to see who went home and went to sleep, but here they are. Just making sure everybody's still with me. You wanted to know what we've been doing. And so I wanted to make sure we provided a little bit of what we've been doing, and then certainly more importantly, what is to come. Thank you to our county commissioners, city council members, our teachers, our staff, our business partners. Thank you so much for those who came out, and thank you.
Oh, thank you. Kanji's in the building. You crank up Kanji.
Hello? Okay, hi. So is she not thorough? I mean, I am so inspired. We have some community questions, and we're going to start with Letha Reed. What are your strategies to try and bring some retired teachers back to fill those vacancies that you mentioned? How do you include them in this?
So real quick, we just offered them $5,000. We said, hey, we'll get you an assistant in the classroom. We asked for at least a year, part-time available where possible, to do this work so that we can ensure that we have certified teachers.
Okay. Erin Ray Ote Jethro, teachers need more time to plan lessons. As a first-year teacher, I work 12 hours, 4 days in the building until April. How can we change that? I am open to a 4 days, 10 hours. Does that make sense? I'm sorry.
So we're gonna say, hey, email me that one.
Okay. Apologies. Yeah. Okay. We have
just one more. I think we have time for one more.
One more? Okay. Gwen Long, thank you for boldly implementing your vision. Will you please consider reviewing the offerings of AP courses, offering of CCTE classes in middle school? Please, please, please improve the insurance. This is a lot. That's a lot. I think that's a statement. How will teachers be empowered and equipped to do the best they can when oftentimes they're mistreated? Oh, goodness gracious. Wait, let me.
Yeah.
It's just too,
so
it's
probably
too
could
much.
be emailed.
Like, these are personal.
I think we're good, Kanji.
Yeah. I'm going to say.
These are starting to get into different. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming out.
Be safe on your travels, and good night.
Thank you. One more time for Dr. Feagins, everybody, and a wonderful family. Let's go learn, lead, and leave a legacy.